and proprietary rights, property rights ng stockholders and members. A proprietary rights refer to the rights of stockholders or members in a corporation that arise from their ownership of shares or from their membership. So as denoted by the word proprietary, this right is economic in nature. And for stockholders, this include the right to dividends, the right to participate in the distribution of corporate assets upon liquidation, the right to inspect corporate books. So yung proprietary rights na pinag-uusapan, this is different from the governance rights, which we discussed earlier dealing with the exercise of voting rights. So pag voting rights, participation in management, that is, those are called governance rights. Yung proprietary rights naman, economic in nature, it is derived from the ownership, the fact that the stockholders are owners of shares, or the fact that members are members of a non-stock corporation. So proprietary rights ang tawag dyan. So in the syllabus, these proprietary rights could be discussed under these topics: right to dividends, right to inspect corporate books, preemptive right, and appraisal right. Let's talk about the right to dividends of stockholders. So the right to dividend is one of the fundamental rights of stockholders in a stock corporation. Dividends represent a portion of the corporation's unrestricted retained earnings, which the board of directors may declare and subsequently distribute to stockholders. So this right to dividends is subject to conditions and limitations under the law. And what is the rule on the declaration of dividends? We have section 42 of the revised corporation code. It says that the board of directors of a stock corporation may declare dividends out of the corporation's unrestricted retained earnings. Put otherwise, the board of directors may, on its discretion, declare dividends only when the corporation has surplus profits, when it has unrestricted retained earnings. Now, in what form may dividends be given? It may be in the form of cash, property, or stock. So as such, there are three kinds of dividends. You have cash dividends, property dividends, or stock dividend. Now, kung cash dividend yan, there is no need for the approval of, but if what is to be declared is a stock dividend, kung yan ang i-declare ng board, stock dividends, it requires approval of stockholders representing at least 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock. So yun lang yung wag niyong kalimutan, pag ang i-declare ng corporation ay stock dividends, that requires approval of stockholders representing at least 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock. Can you compel the board of directors to declare dividends? Well, general rule, no, because declaration of dividends is part of the board's business judgment. It is discretionary on the part of the board. Exception to the rule: the board may be compelled by the stockholders if the corporation has surplus profits in excess of 100% of the corporation's paid-in capital stock. So, in other words, kung marami ng unrestricted retained earnings ang corporation, more than 100% of its paid-in capital stock, then the board may be compelled to declare dividends. Now, exception to the exception. When can't the stockholders compel the board even if it has all these unrestricted retained earnings? So kahit na maraming surplus profits ang corporation, still the board cannot be compelled if, number one, the corporation is prohibited by a loan agreement from declaring dividends without creditor consent. So kung may kontrata ang corporation, may loan contract ang corporation, and in that loan contract, you need the consent of creditor, then the board cannot be compelled to declare dividends. Another situation, if there are corporate expansion projects, or there's a need for special reserves as the board predicts possible a financial crisis, then the board may not be compelled to declare dividends. So let's repeat on that rule. First, the board cannot be compelled to declare dividends because that is covered by business judgment. It's discretionary on the part of the board. However, the board may be compelled if the corporation has surplus profits in excess of 100% of its paid-in capital. However, okay, the corporation with all these unrestricted retained earnings may not be compelled if there's a loan agreement declaring that the loan agreement where declaration of dividends cannot be done without creditor consent, and if the corporation has these expansion projects or there's a need for special reserves. Take note also of Section 7 involving preferred shares. Holder of preferred shares may have a priority in receiving dividends. Well, maybe that's the reason why they are called preferred shares, because when it comes to dividend distribution, they have priority, okay, as compared to common shares. But if you are asked to choose, mas maganda, common or preferred shares? Well, many investors would choose common shares because this class of shares have complete rights, unlike preferred shares. So we'll look at these cases. Let's see reiterations of what we discussed earlier. Republic Planters Bank versus Agana Senior, 1997 case. Supreme Court emphasized the rule that the declaration of dividends is contingent, or it's conditioned upon the availability of unrestricted retained earnings. Dapat merong unrestricted retained earnings. If there is no unrestricted retained earnings, then there is a violation of the trust fund doctrine. Well, even those who have preferred shares are not guaranteed that dividends will be declared. Okay? Because dividends are conditioned upon, okay, the presence of sufficient earnings by the corporation, as well as a board declaration. So hindi automatic ang dividends even if the class of shares is preferred shares. In SEC versus Bonifacio 2024, the court reiterated that the right to dividends is a property right inherent in stock ownership. Okay, but this property right is subject to limitation. Most important among which would be the fact that this right is subject to board discretion as well as the financial condition of the corporation. Okay, question. When can stockholders demand dividends? And when can stockholders demand dividends? And what are the limitations on their right to dividends? Legal basis, Section 42 of the RCC, which provides that dividends may only be declared from unrestricted retained earnings, subject to the discretion of the board and compliance with legal and contractual limitations. So, stockholders cannot compel the board to declare dividends unless the corporation has unrestricted retained earnings and the board has acted, okay, has not acted, the board acted arbitrarily or in bad faith in withholding dividends. So kailangan there is submission to board discretion and the presence of unrestricted retained earnings. So put otherwise, the right to dividends is not absolute and depends on the corporation's financial health, the board's discretion, and compliance with legal requirements. Okay, let's continue. Now let's talk about the right to inspect or right to inspection. Stockholders have the right to inspect corporate books and records when at reasonable hours on business days. So this right given to stockholders would ensure transparency and accountability in corporate governance. Legal basis, Section 73 of the Code. So for example, a stockholder suspecting mismanagement, they can request to inspect the financial records of the corporation. And the corporation must comply, okay, for as long as the stockholder does or exercises this right, okay, in good faith. So under Section 73 of the Revised Corporation Code, corporate records, regardless of the form in which they are stored, must be open to inspection by any director, trustee, stockholder, or member of the corporation. And this right is exercisable during reasonable hours on business days, with the condition that this requesting party acts in good faith and for a legitimate purpose. So what records are included in this right to inspection? This includes financial statements, minutes of meetings, stock and transfer books, and other corporate documents. So all these records are open to inspection. Limitations of the right to inspection. This right may be denied if the requesting party is a competitor or represents a competitor of the corporation. The corporation may also refuse inspection if the request is not made in good faith or for a legitimate purpose. Now, once allowed to inspect, it's the duty of the inspecting party to observe confidentiality of these records, especially if the records would divulge trade secrets or sensitive personal information. Now, what if the corporation refuses to respect the right to inspection of the party? Under Section 161, there's a penalty here. Any officer or agent who unjustifiably refuses inspection may be held liable for damages and penalized with fines ranging from 10,000 to 200,000 pesos or higher if the violation is injurious to the public. So there's a penalty for unjustified refusal on the part of the corporation or his agent on the stockholders' request for inspection. Now, sa 2008 case of Ang Baya versus Ang, Supreme Court emphasized on the limitations of this right to inspect. This right is not absolute. It is subject to limitations such as the requirement of good faith and the legitimate purpose. So in Ang Baya, the court ruled that a stockholder's improper use of information from prior inspections or lack of good faith can justify the denial of this right. So there must be a balance between the right of the stockholder and on the other hand, the corporations need to protect its interest and confidentiality. Well, a minority stockholder cannot be deprived of the right to inspect, as in the case of Terele Investment and Development Corporation versus Yulo, 2015, where the Supreme Court upheld the stockholders' right to inspect corporate records, even if the stockholder owned only a minimal shareholding. And the burden of proving improper motive lies with the corporation. So key takeaway, this case of Terele versus Yulo, the right to inspect applies to all stockholders, regardless of the size of their shareholding, unless the corporation can prove improper motives. So pwede bang unahan ng corporation yung stockholder na buksan yung mga records niya by filing a petition for injunction? In the case of Philippine Associated Smelting and Refining Corporation versus Lim, Pasar versus Lim, the Supreme Court held that a corporation cannot preemptively file an injunction to prevent stockholders from exercising their right to inspect. Okay? Rather, the proper remedy for stockholders is to file a writ of mandamus to enforce their rights. So kailan ba dapat pwedeng sabihin ng corporation na hindi ka pwedeng mag-inspect if the corporation cannot do that through preempting such defense in an injunction? So in what, when, and how should the corporation raise its objection to inspection? So the corporation must raise objections to inspect as a defense in court rather than preemptively blocking the right. So defense yan, hindi mo pwedeng i-preempt yung situation by filing a injunction case. In Bello Medical Group Incorporated versus Santos, ito naman, based on the allegation that the stockholder was using or the stockholder, okay, would like to request access, but there is a conflicting interest. Sabi ng Supreme Court, corporation can deny the stockholder of this right if this stockholder will request access and he has an interest in a competitor company. So gagamitin niya lang yung insider info from the records for the benefit of a competitor company. So the corporation from whom the request is or to whom the request is made may deny the inspection. So this aligns with the limitation that the right to inspect must not be used to harm the corporation's legitimate interests. So key takeaway in this Bello case, the right to inspect is not absolute and may be denied if the stockholder represents a competitor. Paano kung ayaw ng corporation na i-grant yung request ng isang stockholder to inspect the records? What would be the remedy of the stockholder? The remedy of the stockholder is to file a writ of mandamus. So in example number 1 here, a stockholder requests to inspect the financial records of a corporation in order for him to verify allegations of mismanagement. But the corporation denies the request, claiming that the stockholder is acting in bad faith. The stockholder here may avail of the remedy of mandamus. The stockholder may file a writ of mandamus to enforce the right, and the corporation, in this case, must prove the alleged bad faith in court as a defense. Let's try to answer this question. Maria, a stockholder of XYZ Corporation, requests to inspect the corporation's financial records. The corporation denies her request, claiming that Maria is a minority stockholder only with only 0.5% ownership and that her request is unnecessary. Maria insists that she needs the records to verify potential mismanagement. Okay? Question number 1. Does Maria have the right to inspect the financial records of the corporation? The answer is yes. Because the rule says all stockholders have the right to inspect subject to limitations provided by law. Number 2, what remedies are available to Maria if the corporation continues to deny her request? If the corporation continues to deny her request, she can file a petition for a writ of mandamus to compel the corporation to allow her inspection. In addition, may penalty rin yan pag you are being denied. She can seek damages or attorney's fees, okay, incurred due to the corporation's refusal to comply with her lawful request. Okay, let's talk about another proprietary right, the so-called preemptive right. The preemptive right is another fundamental right of a stockholder, allowing this stockholder to maintain proportional ownership in the corporation. So maintenance of proportional ownership in the corporation done by subscribing to newly issued shares before others. Okay? So yung preemptive right, dapat yung mga old stockholders muna pag bigyan ng offer to subscribe before others. So that these original stockholders will maintain their proportional ownership in the corporation. Now, what is the purpose of preemptive right? This right seeks to protect stockholders from the delusion rather, of their ownership and voting power. So this right is not absolute and may be restricted or denied under certain conditions. So if you look at the overall picture of the preemptive right, if you are a stockholder, you are there in the corporation because of your shares. Pero yung shares na inalagaan mo, could be lessened by the infusion of new stockholders. Kung dating 10% yung shares mo, kung may bagong stockholders na papasok or bagong shares na i-issue ang corporation, pwedeng lumiit yung 10% na yan kung hindi ka magpa-purchase o magsasubscribe dun sa mga newly issued na shares. So to protect your interests, we have this so-called preemptive right. So the corporation must first offer the newly issued shares to the existing stockholders before they offer that to other persons. Now, the legal basis of this rule is Section 38 of the Code. General rule, all stockholders of a stock corporation enjoy the preemptive right to subscribe to all issues or dispositions of shares of any class in proportion to their respective share holdings. Now, when does this right not apply? This right does not apply to shares issued in compliance with laws requiring stock offerings or minimum stock ownership by the public. It does not also apply to shares issued in good faith with the approval of stockholders representing 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock. Also in exchange for property needed for corporate purposes in payment of a previously contracted debt. Okay, ito yung mga kailangan ng approval ng stockholders. Not included yung preemptive right dito. Okay, let's look at some cases. Majority stockholders of Ruby Industrial Corporation versus Lim 2011. The Supreme Court clarified that the preemptive right may be restricted or denied under the Articles of Incorporation. However, even if the preemptive right is denied, the issuance of shares may still be questioned if done in breach of trust by the controlling stockholders. So for instance, if the primary purpose of issuing shares is to perpetuate control or freeze out minority stockholders, such issuance may be invalidated. So, key takeaways here, preemptive right or the right to maintain proportional share may be restricted in the Articles of Incorporation. Additionally, even if there is a restriction on the preemptive right, still, issuance of shares must be done in good faith and not in breach of trust by the controlling stockholders. Let's look at simple examples here on how preemptive right is exercised. Example number 1, a corporation plans to issue 1,000 new shares. So 1,000 new shares, yan ang i-issue ng corporation. Now, stockholder A owns 20% of the corporation's outstanding shares. Now, how will the preemptive right come into play? Under the preemptive right, stockholder A has the right to subscribe to 20% of the newly issued 1,000 shares, meaning he can subscribe up to 200 shares before these shares will be offered to other individuals. Preemptive right yan. Now, example 2. Okay, an example showing when preemptive right may be denied. Now, a corporation's articles of incorporation explicitly state that preemptive right is denied. Then the corporation issues new shares to a third party. Now, in this case, the stockholder cannot invoke the preemptive right to challenge the issuance because there is an explicit provision in the articles of incorporation. Example 3, breach of trust. The board of directors issues new shares exclusively to a group of stockholders with the purpose of diluting the voting power of minority stockholders. So very strategic yung pag-issue nila ng shares para mawalan talaga ng boses ang minority stockholders. So even if the preemptive right is denied in the articles of incorporation, if the issuance of the new shares is in breach of trust, the minority stockholders may still challenge the issuance. And lastly, we have, so appraisal right is the right of a dissenting stockholder. So if there is a corporate action that falls under the situations where appraisal right may be exercised, the stockholder may dissent and demand payment of the fair value of their shares. So stockholders who dissent from certain corporate actions, such as mergers or amendments to the articles of incorporation, may demand payment of the fair value of their shares. So gusto ko nang umalis. Yan ang ibig sabihin niyan because I don't like this corporate action. I demand the payment of the fair value of my shares and I will now exit the corporation. Basically, that's the meaning of appraisal right. Okay, appraise mo na yung value ng shares ko, alis na ako dito. Okay, balik mo na yung investment ko. But this right is exercised only within limited situations. So under what situations may the stockholder exercise his appraisal right? Number 1, in the amendment to the articles of incorporation. Okay, if the amendment changes or restricts stockholders' rights, authorizes preferences superior to the existing shares, or extends or shortens the corporate term. Okay, itong mga decisions na to, okay, decisions changing the fundamental document of the corporation, if a does not agree with such change, then he can exercise his appraisal right. Gusto niya nang umalis, pa-appraise niya, and then alis na siya. Also, when the corporation would enter this, or will do this, dispose all or substantially all corporate property, di ba kailangan ng approval ng stockholder? Those stockholders who do not approve, they dissent to this corporate act may exercise appraisal right. Yung may ayaw rin ng merger or consolidation can exercise appraisal right. And the investment of corporate funds for purposes other than the corporation's primary purpose, dissenting stockholders may exercise their appraisal right. So it's only under this situation can appraisal right be exercised. Amendment of articles of incorporation, disposition of all or substantially all corporate property and assets, merger or consolidation, investment of corporate funds for a purpose other than the primary purpose of the corporation. Ito lang, pwedeng i-exercise ng isang dissenting stockholder yung appraisal right niya. That stockholder may opt to be out from the corporation. But in all other corporate actions, you cannot exercise appraisal right. Now, what is the procedure so that the appraisal right may be exercised. First step, the dissenting stockholder must vote against the proposed corporate action. Okay? This corporate action here refers to these situations, to these 4 situations only, not to other corporate actions. Now, within 30 days from the vote, the stockholder must make a written demand na. So, within 30 days, dapat may written demand for payment of the fair value of their shares. Third step, if the corporation and the stockholder cannot agree on the fair value within 60 days, the value will be determined by a panel of 3 appraisers. And also, payment of the fair market value of the dissenting share is conditioned upon the existence of unrestricted retained earnings to cover the payment. So this is the procedure. Participate sa meeting, mag-dissent siya. That meeting must involve any of these 4 situations. If he dissented, the stockholder must give a written demand within 30 days before he gets out. And there must be an unrestricted retained earnings enough to cover the fair market value of the dissenting share. Now, what happens if the stockholder now dissents and exercises his appraisal right? What will happen to his rights as a stockholder? We have the so-called suspension of rights. Suspension of rights. So from the time of demand, yung written demand niya, until payment or abandonment of corporate action, the stockholders' voting and dividend rights are suspended. So from the time of demand up to the time of payment or hindi tinuloy ng corporation, the stockholder cannot exercise his voting and dividend rights. Ngayon, paano kung hindi tinuloy ng corporation yung action na nag-dissent yung stockholder? Then, magre-resume na naman yung voting and dividend rights ng stockholder. Na-abandon na eh. So, there's no need to exercise the appraisal right anymore. If the dissenting stockholder is already paid the fair market value of his rights, then talagang instead of suspension lang, mawawala na yung voting and dividend rights niya. Some jurisprudential standards, Turner versus Lorenzo Shipping Corporation, 2010. In here, Supreme Court emphasized that for appraisal right to be exercised, there must be unrestricted retained earnings. So paano kung nag-file lang kaso yung stockholder? Walang unrestricted retained earnings yung corporation pero nag-dissent siya, in-exercise yung appraisal right niya. Pero hindi binayaran ng corporation because of absence of unrestricted retained earnings. Will this dissenting stockholder invoking appraisal right have a cause of action? In the case of Turner, sabi ng Supreme Court, wala. Premature yung cause of action niya for collection of the fair market value through the exercise of appraisal right because there is no compliance with one condition yet. There is no unrestricted retained earnings sufficient for the payment of the fair value of the shares. Take note also of the case of BSP versus Campa, 2016. Sabi ng Supreme Court, the availability of appraisal rights is a factor in determining whether a suit is a harassment or a nuisance suit. If appraisal rights are available, stockholders must first exhaust this remedy before resorting to litigation. So kung pwede naman silang umexit by exercising appraisal right, yan na lang ang gamitin nila rather than filing cases against the corporation. These other cases, despite the presence of appraisal right, will make a presumption that that case is only a harassment or a nuisance case.